There is an obscure legend referencing a Navajo shaman who made beautiful sand pictures in distant antiquity by simply quote-unquote speaking to it, a process distinct from the hands-on method we are more familiar with today. As this is a legend, it is difficult to pinpoint its exact origin for additional context, leaving it to be relegated to the realm of magic. But when we view it more closely, the concept itself might not be totally dismissible. Also called sand mandalas, sand paintings have been a common aspect of cultural expression for both Native Americans and Tibetans. These intricate art forms are not just decorative. They are deeply rooted in patterns and symbols, serving as powerful visual representations of spiritual beliefs, cosmological understanding, and ritual practices, very similar to sacred geometry. And as with sacred geometry, certain aspects of these mandalas might ultimately be understood in terms of patterns created by sound vibrations. Indigenous tribes the world over are documented to have used the taut skins of drums sprinkled with grains for divination, observing the patterns formed by the vibrations. These patterns were believed to be a manifestation of the unseen underlying connections between material and spiritual reality, and hence often used to interpret signs and predict future events. It would be easy to dismiss this legend as pure fantasy. After all, how could one cause sand to arrange itself into coherent forms just by talking to it? But given what we know about the science of cymatics, it's actually not fanciful at all. Cymatics explores how sound vibrations can be made visible by observing the patterns they create on a surface, similar to how iron filings reveal the direction of magnetic field lines and the overall shape of the field. Some sources propose that certain ancient alphabets, like those of Hebrew and Sanskrit, were designed to resonate with universal harmonics, and when vocalized, could potentially even create cymatic patterns mirroring the shapes of the letters themselves. As ancient languages further developed, they evolved to produce sound waves with specific frequencies and overtones that corresponded to the words uttered. More specifically, these words, or rather the collection of tones that they create, can generate their associated patterns as long as there is sufficient vibrational power behind them. This puts the seeming allegory of speaking sand into pictures into a whole new light, as it is possibly describing a very ancient use of the principles of cymatics to create beautiful pictures and forms, something that we know is in fact possible, as we see right here. One potential caveat, however, is that such a technique usually requires that the sand be able to flow easily and freely. Many modern sand paintings involve a surface coated with glue or adhesive over which minute amounts of sand are dropped in order to render the emergent forms permanent. Cymatic patterns can still be realized on a surface which is sticky, as the particles will still tend to move towards the nodes, but their movements might be slower and less dramatic. The stickiness could also cause the particles to clump together or create a more layered effect. Skillful manipulation of the cymatic surfaces, then, could achieve unique and nuanced effects not typically seen in cymatic experiments. However, it is important to note that in many traditional and ceremonial sand painting practices, particularly those of Native American tribes or Tibetan monks, solidification of the forms is not necessary. In these cases, the paintings are not meant to be permanent. Instead, the impermanence of the artwork is actually central to its meaning. The paintings are either intentionally or ceremonially erased or allowed to fade away, reflecting the transient nature of life itself. In healing ceremonies, the paintings are also destroyed after the ritual, symbolizing the absorption of the ailment by the painting and the patient's return to balance. A remaining question regards whether or not an amplifier or specialized contraption may have been used to amplify the artist's vocal power. This amplifier could have taken the form of the device shown here, which is a speaking tube attached to a membrane, or perhaps it could have taken the form of a large resonant space designed to amplify and enhance a predetermined range of sacred sounds, particular to that culture. The latter brings to mind such ancient resonant spaces such as the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid, and the equally mysterious oracle room in the Hypogeum at Malta. The trained human voice can be quite potent. Thus, it is possible to create somatic figures using the voice alone, as we've seen people shatter glass goblets even without external amplification. But amplification would undoubtedly greatly ease and enhance the process, not to mention preserving the longevity of the vocal cords. It is also likely that a reverberative space and a personal speaking tube will have been used in conjunction for maximum vocalization power. This greater vibration power might be especially needed when creating a more permanent art piece, as the surface would be sticky, making the flow of sand slower and more difficult. This particular legend, along with the somatic patterns expressed in images of sacred geometry all over the world, prove that ancient cultures understood the power of sound and its ability to influence reality, seeing it as a fundamental creative force, with cymatics as a manifestation of that force. In examining sacred geometry, it follows that ancient cymatics was a tool of existential value rather than a mere curiosity, as is often the case today, though this tendency is gradually changing. We could speculate on why this proposed cymatics sand painting technique may have fallen out of favor. Perhaps it was deemed that the intricacy could be maintained with less time and skill when done by hand. It might also be possible that earlier incarnations of the art require a more hands-off approach, as they were considered sacred. In this case, only shamans and monks, trained and dedicated in their respective spiritualities and cosmologies, will have been allowed to create them with the unique hands-off method. Over time, the paintings began to be developed in mass by skilled artisans for both commercial sale and generational expression and preservation. Even still, chanting is involved in the creation of sand mandalas in both Native American and Tibetan traditions. Hence, sound still plays an integral role and is believed to have a direct effect on their spiritual essence, but just in a much more subtle way. Outside of the principles of cymatics to contextualize it, this legend could just be casually dismissed as magical or mystical thinking. With critical pieces of information such as a possible amplification apparatus being lost to time, the essence of the principle is preserved in legend, but the full understanding of the technique and the technology behind it is masked. This limits and discourages a more critical scientific analysis, ultimately resulting in a mitigation in the flow and accumulation of human knowledge over time. We might be seeing this same loss of information in other legends, such as those describing the great building stones, as moving on their own in response to certain sounds or words of power. These examples open up a world of intriguing possibilities. Stories are an integral part of humanity, and the more we look into them, the more we seem to find that they hold more than just entertainment and life lessons. They can also be linguistic repositories of a lost science and technology.